The prince was struck with a sudden and acute illness, and the royal physician hastened to drag Jack along to save him. After an examination, the royal doctor determined that the prince had smallpox and needed immediate treatment. The panicked man quickly started to assist, but he soon noticed something strange. Jack, relying on his sharp hearing, faintly heard the prince groaning in pain, as if in great agony, and on the towel handed over by the royal doctor, there was actually a strong smell of blood. Coincidentally, at this time the house lights were blown out by the wind. Jack immediately saw a scene of extreme horror. He saw that the prince was covered with needles and was having strong convulsions, and the royal doctor was wiping the prince's blood. Jack was trembling on the spot and unconsciously showed an expression of horror, but the royal doctor noticed everything. He slowly approached Jack, carefully watching him. Jack froze, too scared to move. The next second, the chief physician deliberately tested Jack with a silver needle. The nervous man gripped the towel in his hand, but there was no change on his face.
나으리, 명주천이 또 필요하십니까?
The royal doctor sighed in relief and started cleaning up the murder evidence. After the royal doctor left, Jack's gaze fell on the prince. The prince, barely alive, seemed to want to tell Jack something. He was the only one in the palace who knew Jack's secret. But just then, the royal doctor returned, and Jack instinctively lowered his head. The royal doctor lit a candle. By the time Jack looked at the prince again, he had become blind once more. Jack and the royal doctor left the prince's quarters, but while the royal doctor went to rest, Jack rushed back, but the prince had already been killed. Suddenly Jack realized that there was a silver needle in the prince's head. It was the only evidence of the crime. Just then, footsteps came from outside, and Jack quickly hid. It turns out that the imperial doctor had just arrived at the bedroom and realized that one of his needles was missing, so he rushed back to look for it. Jack saw the opportunity, intended to escape through the window, but accidentally dropped the silver needle on the ground. Jack immediately reached out to pick up. Unfortunately, the needle fell into the cracks on the floor. Using all his strength, Jack finally retrieved the needle, but at that moment, the imperial doctor in the room heard the sound. Jack didn't hesitate. He jumped out of the window. Then he hung on to his crutches and started to run away. By the time the royal doctor arrived, all he saw was Jack's back. The royal doctor tried to chase, but was stopped by the prince's guards. The imperial doctor had the bright idea to announce the prince's death to the crowd, and blamed it all on the man who had just jumped out the window. The palace was thrown into chaos. When the emperor heard of his son's death, he shook with rage. He declared that the killer would be executed.